I agreed to drive my friend's mom, but little did I know what was about to unfold. Welcome to Bad Boys channel, where we reveal true adultery stories with unexpected developments. If you find the video interesting, consider subscribing and liking it. Your support really aids the growth of our channel. Now let's embark on the journey into the story. Isn't it amusing how the tapestry of life unfolds? One moment, you're simply navigating the everyday rhythm of existence, and in the very next, the world around you transforms entirely. And so, here I find myself, caught in the web of events that led me to this very moment. Allow me to introduce myself. I am David. At 30 years old, I find myself navigating life on my own, embracing the solitude that comes with being single. I have a handful of dear friends, yet my social life remains quite understated. Much of my days unfold within the bustling realm of a tech company, where I dive into the world of innovation. In the evenings, I embark on epic adventures through video games, and whenever the stars align, I gather with friends to share laughter and stories. There's nothing particularly thrilling to share. Among those companions, there is Jack. Our paths crossed a few years back at a concert, and as time flowed on, we forged a friendship strong enough to share drinks and enjoy the occasional party together. Jack's quite the character, but he's just a young lad at 19, much younger than I am. Yet a connection sparked between us. Yet this tale does not center around Jack. Let me share with you a tale about his mother, Vivian. Though our paths had crossed only a handful of times, I had caught glimpses of her while spending time at Jack's place. In her late 40s, she carried an air of youthfulness that belied her years. She was truly a sight to behold, without a doubt. I never really considered her in that light. In the grand tapestry of life, she held the simple yet profound role of being Jack's mother. Yet not long ago, her life had taken a turn for the more intricate. One evening after the day's toil had settled, Jack reached out to me, his voice carrying a hint of something amiss. His voice lacked its usual spark of cheerfulness. "Greetings, David. Might I ask for a small favor from you?" he inquired, pausing for just a moment. "Ah, indeed. What brings you here today?" I responded. There I was in high spirits, ready to pop open a refreshing drink, when Jack, out of the blue, requested my assistance. It's a rare occasion for him to ask, after all. Ah, how delightful it was to lend my ear to the tale that unfolded. My mother, she's facing some challenges. She's been grappling with the weight of this divorce, cocooned in her home, lost in her thoughts all day long. It seems unlikely that she'll depart for any reason, yet her distress over the situation is palpable. At this moment, I feel it's best if she doesn't take the wheel. Would you be able to give her a ride? She stands her ground against the idea of taking a cab. His tone revealed that this was no mere small favor. Jack's voice carried a weight of concern, compelling me to set aside all that occupied my hands and mind. I acted without a moment's hesitation. I nodded in agreement without a moment's pause. Absolutely, my friend. Where could she be wandering off to? With Jack's address in hand, I reached for my keys, ready to embark on the next chapter of my journey. It had been a few weeks since I last laid eyes on Vivian, yet I could sense the storm she was weathering. While the specifics of her divorce remained a mystery to me, it was clear that the journey had been tumultuous. She and her husband had shared many years together, and from the whispers that reached my ears, it seemed their tale was not one of joy and fulfillment. After experiencing something like that, the last thing anyone wants is to feel isolated, particularly when you've shared so many years with someone. As I arrived at her doorstep, I carefully parked my car and reached for the doorbell, letting its chime echo through the air. As she swung the door open, her eyes spoke volumes, revealing a world of emotions within. It was a deep, profound ache that lingered in the heart. A profound, silent ache lingered in that space. It became clear to me that she was struggling, and in that moment, I understood just how much more difficult her situation was than I had ever thought. This tale unfolds beyond the confines of a shattered union. It marked the conclusion of a significant chapter in her life, one to which she had devoted her heart and soul. "Hello, David," she said, her smile a mere facade, failing to illuminate her eyes. "I appreciate your willingness to take this on." Uncertainty loomed over me, casting a shadow on my next steps. "Of course, Vivian," I said, offering her a warm smile that spoke of understanding and comfort. "Allow me to guide you back to the warmth of your abode." The journey was quiet, with little conversation between us as we made our way there. The air in the car was thick with silence, a weight that pressed down on us, leaving me at a loss for words. I was not her confidant. Though I couldn't quite grasp her needs, I sensed a deep yearning for someone to lend an ear, and so I became that attentive listener she sought. The journey was filled with an unmistakable tension, to put it mildly. It was a sight I had never encountered before. Vivian, enveloped in silence, a shadow of her former self. In all my previous encounters with her, she had exuded an air of composure and grace. With a smile that never fades, she embodies the essence of a dedicated mother. Yet it felt as though a new soul had taken her place. The anguish in her gaze was unmistakable. The silence lingered in the air, a palpable presence, while the gentle hum of the engine accompanied us on our journey down the winding road. I cast a few sidelong glances her way, pondering the best way to shatter the silence that hung between us. Yet truth be told, I found myself at a loss for words. These things were not my strong suit. Jack was the one who typically handled the emotional matters. Who? Me. I found myself listening, or at least making the effort. Yet an undeniable sense lingered that she was yearning for something deeper in this moment, a journey that transcends mere transportation. So I finally mustered the courage to break the silence and asked, "How have you been holding up?" As she turned her head in my direction, I witnessed the familiar wave of sorrow sweep across her features once more. With a deep breath, she steadied herself, preparing to share her thoughts. To be frank, she confessed softly that things were not going well. "This divorce has proven to be more challenging than I ever anticipated. I believed I would be all right, you see. Yet I find myself wandering in a haze." She took a moment, her voice trembling just a bit. "Without him, I find myself adrift, a puzzle missing its most vital piece." Words escaped me in that moment. What tale could I weave? I wasn't precisely the authority on matters of the heart, particularly when it came to those that had fallen apart. Yet I sensed that her heart bore the weight of much more than the sorrow of a broken union. In that moment, a profound solitude enveloped me, an emptiness that seemed insurmountable, leaving me uncertain of how to bridge the void. With a gentle voice, I expressed, "I can't fathom what that must feel like." "Ah, but fear not, for you shall emerge on the other side stronger than before. You possess great strength." As she gazed out the window, the wind danced through her hair, sweeping it back with a gentle caress. For a fleeting moment, it seemed as though she was attempting to pull away from the exchange. There was no blame cast in her direction. Delving into such unfiltered emotions must have been quite a challenge. "I don't feel strong right now," she murmured softly. "It seems as though I've let countless moments slip away." Delving into such unfiltered emotions must have been quite a challenge. "I don't feel strong right now," she murmured softly. "It seems as though I've let countless moments slip away, and now the sands of time have slipped through my fingers, leaving me feeling too seasoned to embark on a new journey." It was a moment I wished to avoid, for her voice carried the weight of surrender, and I couldn't bear to engage in conflict with her then. I chose to listen, believing that her words might bring her some solace. Ah, the longing for love, a tale as old as time. One can't help but yearn for that warmth and connection once more, don't you think? She carried on, her words flowing softly, as though she were in conversation with her own thoughts. "Oh, how I long for that sense of being cherished, for the feeling that I truly count in this vast tapestry of life. Yet it seems as though all is gradually fading into the distance." The bitterness in her voice was palpable, laced with frustration. It struck me deeply, for despite my efforts to see her solely as Jack's mother, she remained undeniably a woman. A woman shaped by her past wounds, carrying within her a tapestry of desires and needs. Unfulfilled desires linger in the air, waiting for their moment to be addressed. "You matter, Vivian," I found myself saying before I could hold back. "You're truly a remarkable individual. Those who take the time to truly understand you can easily recognize that truth." She turned her head to look at me, her eyes narrowing just a bit, as if she were on a quest to uncover something hidden in my expression. It seemed as though she was measuring my words carefully, yet I found myself unable to decipher the thoughts swirling in her mind. A lengthy silence hung in the air before her words finally broke through. "Thank you, David," she murmured, her voice softening. "Your kindness is appreciated, yet it falls short. There's a yearning for something greater." Once more, I yearned to experience that spark of emotion. I could see it reflected in her gaze now, the longing, the fragility. And just like that, I sensed a change stirring within me. Uncertainty lingered in the air as I pondered my next move with it. It caught me off guard, leaving me unready for what lay ahead. To my surprise, she began to share her thoughts so freely, and in that moment, I found myself at a loss for how to respond. The car eased to a crawl as we approached her home, and she exhaled a heavy sigh, as if letting go of something long held inside. Uncertainty lingered in the air as I pondered whether her return home brought a sense of relief or if the gravity of our earlier discussion had finally found its place within her heart. "I appreciate your attention, David," she murmured, her tone gentle. "It has been some time since someone has truly lent an ear." Words eluded me in that moment. A part of me yearned to extend a hand, to offer her solace in some way, yet I found myself questioning whether it was my role to do so. Yet there was this surprising part of me that yearned to draw nearer to her. It was something deeper, a profound understanding that transcended mere emotions. In that moment, an unseen thread wove itself between them, a sensation that whispered of a deeper bond. As we rolled into her driveway, an enveloping silence settled around us once more. As I pondered how to conclude this chapter, uncertainty lingered in my mind, leaving me at a loss for words. As I eased the car into park, Vivian turned to me once more, her gaze probing into mine. "Ah, David, your friendship has been a true treasure to both Jack and myself." Ah, the weight of those words is beyond measure. I offered a smile, even if it carried a hint of reluctance. "Whenever you need, Vivian." "It was my pleasure." She nodded slowly, and in that fleeting instant, time seemed to pause between us. Uncertainty lingered in the air, as I pondered whether it was merely the echoes of a profound discussion or if deeper currents were beginning to stir beneath the surface. A challenge that caught me off guard, one I wasn't prepared to confront just yet. Yet throughout the journey back, an unsettling sense lingered within me, whispering that the dynamics between us were shifting. In the days that followed, an air of peculiarity enveloped everything. The journey home with Vivian played on repeat in my thoughts, a melody I couldn't quite shake off. Each encounter with Jack, each word exchanged, left me with an undeniable sense that a change had woven itself into the fabric of my relationship with his mother. Yet I set those thoughts aside. In the end, my only intention was to be a true companion. Wasn't that all there was to it? But then a message arrived. As the clock ticked away on a Thursday night, my phone vibrated, revealing a message from Vivian. My thumb lingered above the screen, filled with anticipation for what lay ahead. Once upon a time, there was a message, simple yet profound. "Shall we have a conversation tomorrow? I seek an attentive ear." I moved forward without a moment's pause. Uncertainty clouded my mind regarding her situation, yet I felt a strong pull to be her confidant if she sought a listening ear. I responded without delay. "Indeed. When shall we gather for our next tale?" Her reply came in a flash. Her message was brief yet unmistakable. "What do you say to 8 p.m.? I shall return to my abode." "Thank you, David." And so it came to pass. A strange flip danced in my stomach, and for a fleeting moment, the thought of retreating crossed my mind. Yet I chose not to. It was clear to me that Vivian was in need of companionship, a person who maintained a clear perspective, free from emotional entanglements that might obscure the dialogue. Jack carried his own burdens, and I wished not to weigh him down further. As I approached her house that night, a flutter of nerves danced within me, uncertainty swirling in the air, like a whisper of secrets yet to be revealed. I pressed the doorbell and stood there, my thoughts swirling with endless possibilities. What tales could she weave into conversation now? Was she still navigating the turbulent waters of her divorce? Or could it have been something entirely different? As she swung the door open, I noticed she appeared a touch more composed than our previous encounter, Yet an unsettling aura lingered around her. Her eyes carried a weary, almost faraway gaze. "Hey," she whispered gently, moving aside to welcome me in. "Thank you for joining us on this journey." "No problem," I replied, my voice light and easy, as I stepped into the living room behind her. What tale unfolds before us? With a graceful wave of her hand, she invited me to take a seat on the couch. She moved with a measured grace, each action carefully considered. It was as if she held a secret, a weighty thought just waiting to be unveiled, yet the exact words eluded me. As I settled into my seat, she inhaled deeply, her gaze fixed on her hands before she began to share her thoughts. "Our conversation the other night has been on my mind quite a bit," she started, her voice soft and uncertain. "And I've come to understand that I seek more than merely an ear to hear my words." A sense of uncertainty washed over me, yet my stomach knotted with an unfamiliar sensation. "Could you clarify what you mean?" I inquired with great care. She settled into her seat, tucking her legs beneath her, her gaze fixed intently on me. "It may seem a bit out there, but I find myself feeling quite isolated lately, for quite some time now." She paused, her eyes drifting downwards, as though the weight of the moment made it difficult for her to connect with my gaze. And I'm weary of fading into the background. I remained silent, allowing her words to flow freely. I sensed there was a profound struggle within her, yet I felt it best not to hurry her along. Watching my marriage slip away, witnessing the unraveling of the life I once believed was mine. "Everything has transformed completely." She pressed on, her voice quivering just a touch. "At 48, I find myself in a place I never expected, pondering whether I will ever encounter someone who truly sees me once more." Words eluded me in that moment. My heart ached for her, truly. Her words wove a tapestry far beyond the threads of her failed marriage. She wove a tale about her identity, her sense of self-worth. It's hard to fathom the challenges that must have arisen during that time. "I realize I'm not in the best position to begin anything with anyone at the moment," she said hastily, as if seeking to explain her openness. Yet a whisper within me stirs, suggesting that there's a yearning for something beyond the roles of motherhood or the title of a divorcee. I yearned to embrace the thrill of life once more. There it stood, a sight to behold. The truth that lingered in the shadows of my mind, waiting for the moment to be recognized. She was navigating the depths of loss that extended far beyond her marriage. She was mourning her own heart as well. Before I could utter a word, she rose to her feet and began to walk back and forth, lost in thought. "I'm sorry," she said, her fingers weaving through her hair as if searching for the right words. "Am I weaving a tale that lacks clarity?" "No, you're making sense," I replied, rising to my feet with deliberate slowness. "I understand. You've faced many trials and tribulations." "I don't know what I'm doing," she said, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "There's a profound emptiness that lingers within me." She halted her restless movements and turned to me, her eyes filled with a quest for understanding. "Loneliness has wrapped around me for too long, David. I yearn for companionship." The air hung heavy with an unspoken tension, a silence that enveloped us both. Her gaze was fixed on me, probing and curious, yet the exact nature of her quest eluded my understanding. In that fleeting instant, as my gaze met hers, I truly perceived it. Once there was pain, a deep yearning, and an elusive something more. A gentle tug that beckoned me irresistibly. There it was, a subtle beckoning in the air. Yet I found myself at a loss for words, unsure of how to answer the call. With a delicate step, she approached, her voice a soft murmur that danced in the air. "I'm not quite sure what I'm seeking, David, but I find myself in need of companionship, even if it's just for this evening." Words eluded me in that moment. My heart raced wildly, a drumbeat echoing in my chest, urging me to retreat, to seek the comfort of safety. Yet as I gazed upon her, standing there, exposed and yearning for something, I found myself unable to turn my back. For what felt like an eternity, the atmosphere surrounding us crackled with an electric tension. In that moment, silence enveloped us, words unspoken hanging in the air. Uncertainty hung in the air, yet as I gazed into her eyes, a profound realization washed over me. Everything was about to change forever. The silence that enveloped us was palpable, laden with an unspoken weight of tension. Vivian stood a mere few feet away, her posture closed off. Yet there was an undeniable warmth in her presence that beckoned one closer. It felt like she was poised, anticipating my next step. Yet I found myself uncertain about what that step ought to be. She had laid her heart bare, revealing a side of herself that was unfamiliar to me. The gravity of her words, her candidness about feeling adrift and unseen, lingered in my mind. Yet what she was inquiring about now, it carried a perilous edge. At the very least, that was the persistent whisper of my thoughts. "I'm at a loss for what you seek from me, Vivian." I finally spoke, my voice softer than I had meant it to be. "It seems you're navigating through quite a journey, and I'm here to lend an ear. However, I sense that what you truly seek goes beyond mere conversation." With a subtle nod, her gaze remained firmly fixed on me. "I know," she whispered. "For what feels like an eternity, I have wandered through the shadows of solitude, David. I yearn to escape this feeling that lingers within me. A longing for connection stirs within me. I long to sense my significance in the world." Her voice quivered just a bit, yet there was a spark within it now, a yearning urgency. The allure of her words wrapped around me. The longing in her gaze tugged at my heart, making it difficult to remain silent. Yet I found myself treading with caution. I found myself at a crossroads where I had to make a stand. She was a woman of remarkable distinction. She was the mother of Jack. She had faced her own demons not long ago, and I knew I had to keep my distance from this turmoil. "Vivian," I spoke, my tone steady yet soft. "What a remarkable individual you are. Why choose a path that could lead to future remorse? I wish to honor this moment, to respect what you are experiencing." She drew nearer, bridging the gap that lay between us. "I wish to live without regrets," she murmured gently. "I yearn to experience something, anything at all, David. I long to be seen, to break free from the shadows that have cloaked me for too long." Her words cut deep, revealing the profound pain that lay within them. This transcended mere physical necessity. It was a journey of rediscovery, a tale of a woman stepping into the light after years of being overlooked, of pouring her heart into others while receiving little in return. And yet the very idea of stepping over that threshold, of transforming this into something deeper, sent a wave of unease through my stomach. Doubt lingered in my mind as I pondered whether I was truly the one to guide her through this journey. Doubt lingered in my mind, questioning whether I was truly the one to guide her through this journey of healing. "You're not invisible," I whispered, my heart racing with every word. "Ah, but surely this cannot be the desire that stirs within you. Not truly. One must allow for the passage of time, a gentle companion on the journey to healing." Her gaze held a blend of exasperation and desire, weaving a tale of unspoken emotions. "Do you honestly believe that I will find healing by merely sitting idly by?" she inquired. "Do you believe that time can mend the wounds he inflicted upon me?" The words struck me with a force I hadn't anticipated. Before me stood not just a vulnerable woman, but a tapestry of experiences and emotions woven together. There was a woman, a soul marked by betrayal, her life a chaotic whirlwind, lost in the fragments of what once was, struggling to find a way to mend her shattered existence. She poured her heart and soul into someone unworthy of such devotion, and now she found herself standing amidst the echoes of that pain, with nothing left but the remnants of what once was. "Indeed, I do not, and I confess that openly. Yet that is precisely why I cannot be the one to mend that void for you. It's not within my power to fix everything." She nodded slowly, a glimmer of understanding flickering in her eyes. Yet the spark in her gaze hinted at an unwavering spirit, one that refused to surrender. "I know you're right," she murmured softly, her gaze fixed on her hands. "Yet there are moments when I yearn to embrace that vibrant pulse of life once more. I am more than just a former partner or a mother." With a deep breath, I ran my fingers through my hair, caught in a moment of uncertainty about what to say next. A deep desire to soothe her welled up within me, and a part of my soul yearned to surrender to the intimacy of the moment. Yet I found myself unable to do so. It transcended mere personal desire. It was a tale woven around what truly served her best. Perhaps a little distance would do us good. I proposed, my voice soft yet resolute. Take a moment to unravel the mysteries that lie ahead. To men. And I require some time to discover how I can support you, while respecting all boundaries. For a fleeting moment, she remained still, her gaze fixed upon me. Then, as if a gentle breeze had swept through, her shoulders softened, and the tightness in her expression melted away. Indeed, you may be onto something, she replied gently. It seems I've been striving a bit too fervently, haven't I? I nodded, a wave of relief washing over me as I sensed her understanding. All is well. I'm here for you, ready to weave the tale of our journey together. But let us proceed at a gentle pace, shall we? Take your time with every step. Not at this moment, only when you are certain of your true desires. She offered a faint smile tinged with a hint of melancholy. The path ahead remains unclear, and I find myself uncertain of what I truly seek. Ah, but how wonderful it is to have you here, David. Indeed, I truly am. And just like that, the moment slipped away. The weighty silence that hung between us began to lift ever so slightly. Yet deep down, I sensed that our story was far from finished. Vivian was still navigating the depths of her experience, and I found myself still pondering whether I had truly made the right choice by stepping into this situation. As I stepped away from her abode that evening, a sense of unease lingered in the air. Uncertainty loomed ahead, yet one truth stood out unmistakably. Once upon a time, the bond between Vivian and me had shifted in ways I never anticipated. In the quiet moments of reflection, we found ourselves at a threshold we could no longer ignore. What lay ahead was the intriguing puzzle of our next steps. A week had slipped by since that fateful night, a week filled with questions and unknowns. We would turn our eyes away, carefully avoiding each other's gaze whenever our paths crossed. Yet the truth was an inescapable companion. Everything had transformed. The events that transpired between Vivian and me were irrevocable. Yet it was not something I could simply overlook. Each time the thought crossed my mind, a persistent ache settled in my chest, whispering secrets of unease. It felt as though I had crossed a threshold into a realm from which there was no return, no matter the effort I exerted. On a leisurely Sunday afternoon, the phone rang, and it was Jack on the other end. Our conversations had been few and far between since that whole ordeal began, yet I could feel the bond of friendship still strong. I understood the weight on his heart, the concern for his mother lingering in the air like an unspoken truth. He spoke of the struggles she faced, and I realized I hadn't been the best source of comfort, despite my good intentions. "Greetings, David. Do you have a moment to share a few words?" Jack's voice held a calmness, yet it carried an undercurrent of something deeper. There was an unmistakable hint that suggested he held deeper secrets beneath the surface. Indeed, absolutely. "Greetings. How are you today?" After a lengthy silence, he finally found his voice once more. "Listen, I understand that the atmosphere has been a bit off among us lately, but I really need you to reach out to her.